Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has come up out of his face hole with some ridiculous nonsense. He has said that legal precedents are not the gospel, which is his way of saying, oh, yeah, you remember that thing that we did with Roe versus Wade and we overturned that even though that we said that we wouldn't go against legal precedent? Well, we're about to start doing that shit again. And coming up pretty soon, now that we're starting to feeling our oats and that we have no impediments and we have a 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court, that we're going to be doing some dastardly shit. So here we've got an article from ABC News. Justice Clarence Thomas says the Supreme Court should take a more critical approach to settle precedent. I thought it was already settled precedent but we need to have a new critical approach to something that's already been settled, that's already been adjudicated in the Supreme Court. Maybe we need to relook at that. You know, something like United States versus Loving, you know, a black or a white person can't get married, or going after gay marriage. Yeah, we might have to look at that. I know it was decided over 10 years ago, but we might have to look at that. I mean, 10 years ago, that's a long time ago, but they did overturn a 50-year-old statute in Roe versus Wade. People lived and died under that legality for women to have control over their own bodies, but they did overturn it. So let's continue. We need a more critical approach to settled precedent, saying decade cases are not, quote, the gospel, and suggested some may have been based on, quote, something nobody dreamt up and others went along with. So it was decided by the Supreme Court, but some people were just dreaming and just letting it go. But now that we have a majority, maybe we need to revisit those now that we have power. Thomas made the comments during a rare public appearance on Thursday evening at a Catholic University Columbus School of Law in Washington, D.C., just over a week before the High Court starts a new term that includes challenges to several major long-standing decisions. The court is poised to revisit Humphrey's Executor versus the U.S., a 90-year-old precedent that limits a president's ability to remove members of some independent federal agencies without cause. So just fire anybody for any reason. I don't like you. You're gone. And that's a 90-year-old precedent. The justices will also consider whether to overturn Thornburg versus Jingles, a landmark 1986 decision governing the use of race in redistricting under the Voting Rights Act. They've already cut half of the Voting Rights Act out. They've already trashed it, 86'd it, round filed it, it's gone. And now they want to go after the other half of it because racism is over. We elected a black president. There's no more racism in America. For the first time, the court is also considering a petition of writ of Citeria, asking them to explicitly revisit and overturn the 2015 decision in Obergefell versus Hodges, which is the extended marriage right to same-sex couples. He already said that he was going to do that a couple of years ago. He flirted with the idea a couple of years ago, but now Donald Trump is president and they have got a supermajority in the Supreme Court. Now they're going to do it. And he's just letting everybody know, hey, it's coming, folks. Quote, at some point, we need to think about what we're doing with stare decisis, which is, hey, we don't overturn precedent that's already been ruled on by this governing body of the Supreme Court. Now they're like, stare decisis, who gives a shit? Starry eyes, starry whatever. Thomas said Thursday, referring to the legal principle of abiding by previous decisions, and it is not some sort of talismanic deal where you can just say stare decisis and not think turn off the brain, right? The court's senior conservative suggested that some members of the court over the years have blindly followed prior judgments. Well, it's because it's precedent, right? I thought precedent. I mean, when they question you, when you were nominated, they asked you if you'd follow precedent and you said yes. And here you are, already overturned Roe versus Wade. They literally asked you that in your confirmation hearing back in the 90s. And you said that you would not overturn it. Every last one of you Republicans said you wouldn't overturn it. And every last one of you Republicans voted to overturn it. So that makes you all liars. Capital L, capital I, capital A, capital R, period. Liar. Quote, we never go to the front, see who's driving the train, where is it going, and you could go up there in the engine room. What kind of fucking analogy is this? The train is going and we're not going to go up to the front room? That would be the engine room. Okay, the engine room, fine. It's an orangutan driving the train. Oh, who's the orangutan? Is that Barack Obama? Is that whoever allowed Roe versus Wade to pass? Who's this orangutan? But you want to follow that just because it's a train. I don't think that I have the gospel. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. He said that any of these cases that have been decided are the gospel, and I do give perspective to the precedent. But the precedent should be respectful of our legal tradition of what? Turning your back on precedent and our country and our laws, and be based on something, what, your feelings? Not just something someone had dreamt up and others went along with. Thomas has long been outspoken advocate for revisiting some of the court's significant landmark opinions. By the way, they've been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes judgments. Shadow docket is what they call it. A lot of things like, for instance, allowing Donald Trump to do a line item veto on stuff on funding that was already approved by Congress, trying to desperately to get rid of birthright citizenship. All of these are precedents that it seems like the Supreme Court is primed to give Donald Trump whatever he wants. So whether or not he wants to go after the 2022 concurring opinion in Dobbs v. Jackson's Women's Health, which overturned Roe versus Wade, Thomas urged his colleagues to reconsider all of the court's substantive due process precedents, including Griswold, Lawrence, and Obergefell. Cases involving rights to contraception, same-sex intimacy, and marriage. Well, there you go, folks. We've got a sitting Supreme Court justice basically saying, hey, we've got a new session coming up, and we're going to do some fucked up ass shit. Buckle up. It's coming. Oh my God, man. The hits just keep on coming. God damn, I don't know how America's going to survive until 2028, but we are definitely going to be a lesser country when that day rolls around. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.